Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast, the official podcast of Left Wing Lock and a proud partner of the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm Devin Davidson, your host. With me, as always, Bruce Gunther, John Enns, and Tyler Holman. Boys, where do you want to start first? Geno Malkin or the Battle of Alberta?
I say a little bit of both on this one because I'm going to get my shot in right at the start.
Okay, well, go for it, John. Go for it.
I would just like to say that Geno Malkin puts up a hattie and he's a +2, and your boy Draisaitl puts up a hattie and he's a -4. That's all I got.
That's a number I'm proud of.
And that's also known as the Draisaitl hat trick, according to Dauber Hockey. That is the official Draisaitl hat trick.
Yeah, maybe if the guy worked on his defensive abilities a little bit, he might actually be a decent hockey player.
I'm going to put you on the list, John. You're on the list this week.
I'm fired up.
You know what? Maybe if he had some goaltending, he wouldn't be a -4 when he scores a hat trick. Or maybe if the defense would show up.
Yeah, that helped too.
I don't
So
know.
who was the worst defenseman? Was it CC at -5, or who was the worst defenseman on the Oilers last night?
I think it was Bouchard. Did you see that?
Trash.
His play on, I think it was Kachuk's goal. I think it was Kachuk, where he was coming back and it was kind of a 2-on-2, and then he got kind of rubbed out there and it made it on kind of a 2-on-1. He just fell off to the side, and then they switched coverage, him and Keith, except he didn't take anybody, and then he was in between, and then he just laid down. And didn't block a shot, didn't block a pass, and almost ended up with his head in the back of the net. And then they just scored. It was that's worse than Div 11 CCRHL defending there. That's bad. That's worse than me trying to play D.
For a while.
That's bad.
Yeah. I said to Britt, this looks like a Sunday morning at 11 a.m. beer hockey game. It's just brutal.
Everybody was still hungover from the night before.
Yeah. That's kind of what happened. I don't know. You're not going to win them all. That one was bad. There was no goaltending on both sides, honestly. Markstrom led in 5.
I think the D was actually worse than the goaltending.
Agreed. But still not a good look. And that tweet from Ken Holland, or maybe that soundbite where he said, I'm confident in the Oilers' goaltending. It hasn't aged well through a few games. Whoops.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, that one sucks. My mom and Milt were at the game in Calgary. My sister lives in Calgary. She's a fan. Yeah. I know.
I was going to say your sister's a fan of the Flames?
Yeah,
oh, no.
'cause they've got season tickets. So John, my brother-in-law, they've got season tickets in Calgary. So that's the story there. But that was painful to watch.
Bouchard was only a -1 last night.
So he just looked bad. He didn't actually play that bad, as you telling me, John or Bruce?
Yep.
Okay, let's move away from that because I don't ever really want to see that game again. So let's talk about Geno, though. Not bad, hey, John?
Wowzers.
Not bad.
I didn't need his help to beat Tyler this week, but but I'll take it.
But you'll take it.
You had the most points this week out of anybody, so
I'm on a roll.
I'm okay with
but
losing like that.
I don't know how many games I have next week, so I'm a little worried.
Well, you'll find out near the end of the podcast.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
If you stick around long enough, John, you'll find out.
Oh,
I didn't get Malkin didn't help me win this week, but I ended up picking up Rickard Rakell, who I think we should talk about later. But he finally got a chance to play with Malkin on Friday, was the word, and then I found out later Friday after picking up Rakell that Malkin wasn't playing, and then sure enough, Rakell put up 3 points today, got me actually 12 fantasy points, and I'm only up by 6, or I think I won by 6 this week, so eked out a squeaker there.
Yeah.
I picked up Raquel right at the trade deadline.
Yep.
And I didn't wait long enough. I only played him for those first 2 games where he did nothing. And then I dropped him like an idiot.
Let him go.
Like an idiot.
Okay. Not bad. Good stuff. So here we are. NHL Week 24 Waiver Wire Picks and Preview, episode 55, Bruce. Been around for a while.
Yep.
This is fun. So it looks like we are actually starting fantasy hockey playoffs in our Yahoo League, Bruce, starting tomorrow, quarterfinal. Yep. And a lot of teams are starting fantasy hockey playoffs tomorrow or the week after. Tyler, what's our setup in Temu? We got playoffs tomorrow or the next week?
The commissioner doesn't know.
I got no idea. I got no idea.
I'm going to look at it right now. Okay, we got one more week.
Whew.
Or at least, no, that's in the FHHL. The team was probably the same, unless you set it up differently. But
I don't know what I did.
2 more weeks, actually. We got 2 more weeks of regular season play. You know why? Because in the podcast league, I set it up so that we finished a week before the regular season was done. Because you have all that bullshit that happens when they start resting players and basketball term load management, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we did there.
Just the worst.
Yeah, not great.
Lauren's doing pretty good in this team of. I think he's
Just throwing them right out there. Yeah. Yeah. Good job, Lauren.
1-20. That's a pretty good record.
That's a new record, I think.
I think that is
Even
even for him. Even for him.
He played 1 week, and then just called it quits.
No wonder why he doesn't ever pay for it. I wouldn't
I'm
either.
Good stuff.
Should have collected his donation early.
Yeah, you should have. I did try to collect on your behalf, but he never got back to me on it. So
No, I get it. I understand now.
Yeah, sorry, bud. Okay, well, lots to get to this week. Obviously, we talked trade deadline on Wednesday with Mike. So I guess we can touch on some of the players this week after they've been traded and how they've looked. But before we get into all that kind of fun stuff and waiver wire picks and all the good things, let's go to our first segment, John's List. For anyone who is not familiar, this is basically just John's shit list of players past and present. It's a fun way for us to kick off the show. Sometimes John has good stuff. Sometimes we want to put John on the list for his picks here. But
It's my list. Go away.
take it away, buddy.
This week's member of the list is Logan Couture.
Agreed.
$8 million, and that's all you can come up with. Like, I don't know what else to say to that one. Like, why he even got $8 million to start with just doesn't fly with me. Like, he's been trashed for years.
It makes the Draisaitl contract look really good, John.
I'm not commenting. Okay, hey, Draisaitl might be a little bit better.
Oh, just okay.
Just a little.
Yeah, but we don't like Couture. I mean, Tyler, you talked about it lots. You like just years past where the Sharks would just kick the shit out of the Oilers.
Yeah, no, I hate him. I hate him just because of that. But he's got 5 years left too on that after this year.
How old
that's
is Couture?
nuts.
He's 32.
32. Yikes.
That's a good deal by his agent.
Oh, he turns 33 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday, you suck.
John's list.
Count those millions. Count those millions.
Right?
He doesn't care what we think. I mean, he
No,
counts
not
money.
at all.
But he makes the list. What's he up to points wise this year? I haven't looked at all on Couture.
Oh, now you're asking questions I didn't look at.
I'll
47.
take a look here.
He's actually having a decent season. He's got 21 goals. But
Yeah. He's on pace for 64, so it's not
Crap.
statistically it's not terrible, but for $8 million,
I expect more.
you would expect more for $8 million. No question. Alrighty. Any other thoughts on Logan Couture? Bruce?
No, other than that he's out right now with an injury.
Okay. You can tell when Bruce really doesn't give a shit about a player when he gives you one-word answers.
Meh.
And no, don't like the guy. Moving on. All right. Well, with that, let's get on to the next segment here, or part of this segment. Fantasy Lock of the Week, March 21st to the 27th. presented by Left Wing Lock, your number one source for fantasy hockey intelligence. Guys, I'm sorry. I hate to do it. I just try to be impartial on the show. It's Johnny Gaudreau. He's good at hockey. You don't have to like him, but he's good at hockey. 10 points, 2 goals, 1 game winner, 2 power play points, 8 shots on goal, +5. 54% power play share, 18.5 minutes time on ice in 3 games played. That line with, is it Lindholm, Gaudreau, and Tkachuk? Is that who played last night? They're pretty good. Yeah, not much else to say there. I won't pat him on the back too much. But really good. Led all players this week in points. Honorable mentions go to Leon Draisaitl, John. Just so you know. 8 points, 6 goals. He actually led all players in goals this week. And
I'm just gonna stare at you and be like, no, no.
Yeah, I'm on fire here just from your searing eyeballs. Anyway, 6 goals, 2 assists, 4 power play points, 13 shots on goal. 88% power play share and 21.5 minutes time on ice in 4 games played. And then the other guy here I had was Evgenii Dadonov. More so just for the whole trade debacle, and then for him to come back and put up 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists, 1 overtime game-winning goal, along with 2 power play points and just 5 shots on goal. He played over 17 minutes time on ice in 2 games played. So pretty good performance from him. He's probably their best player. Hey, Bruce?
I would say so. I was going to say, what a great trade acquisition by the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, that's all I got for Fantasy Lock of the Week. Let's move on to headlines with the Hacks, news and injury updates for March 21st to the 27th. Left Wing Lock, again, I'll just mention they've got their playoff probabilities tool. You can see all the odds for your favorite team and if they will qualify for the postseason based on that model. Any trade deadline news that you may have missed or want to check in on, there's a link there for that as well. The Oilers, before they got smacked by Calgary last night, were at an 85% probability to make the playoffs. That took a bit of a dip after last night. I think it's down to 75% now. But if you want to check out your team, the link is in the show notes. It's on our website, fantasyhockeyhacks.com. March 21st, Roman Josi, Kyle Connor, and Lawson Krause were named the NHL's 3 stars for the week ending March 20th. Tyler, your boy, Josi, love him. Yep. He's on a crazy pace this year. And Kyle Connor just scored his 40th goal, first one of his career, which is kind of hard to believe.
Yossi's been unreal.
Is he going to win the Norris?
I think he has to. I mean, that many points for him.
Kneecap Makar, though.
Yeah. Still,
you could just see the next game. You see Josi going out, just a 2-hander across Makar's shin pads. Just the Norris is mine, damn it! Whack.
You gotta get it on the back, Bruce, not on the front, not on the actual shin pads. It's gotta be on the back. It's gotta be on the calf.
Well, there's no protection.
Well, I don't want to get him suspended. I just want to just.
Oh, okay.
No.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Because if he gets suspended, he's probably not going to win it then.
That's true.
Good point. He's been outstanding, though. That's really all I can say about Roman Josi. And then, yeah, obviously Makar's had an incredible season, but it is between one of those two. Any Hart consideration, do you think, for Josi or Makar? Or is that a stretch?
I think it's a stretch.
And that's coming from the president of the fan club.
I can see it more for Josi than I can for Makar.
I'll agree with Bruce on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, when you look at the definition of the Hart Trophy, right? Most valuable to your team. Okay. The report out of Philadelphia is that Ryan Ellis is done for the rest of the season. Marc-Andre Fleury traded to, well, we talked about this on Wednesday, but he got his first win here. Was that last night?
Yeah.
How'd he fare, John? I didn't check the score on that one.
Decently as far as I could tell there.
They won it in overtime.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Bruce's blunder of the week goes to the Vegas Golden Knights, who tried to trade Evgenii Dadonov to the Ducks until they found out that Dadonov had a no-trade list, and the Ducks were on it, which the Knights say they did not know about. They should have checked cap-friendly. It's noted there, yeah. So, yeah, it was officially vetoed or reversed by the NHL. I was listening to 32 Thoughts, and Friedman was talking a bit about that, and just he was talking about NHL Central Registry was like they had approved it. So he said that there was someone at Central Registry that was like, yeah, this is good to go. So, it wasn't just Vegas, but there were a couple people that screwed up here.
Yep. For sure was. And I think it came out yesterday too that Ottawa won't be penalized for basically either they purposely didn't say anything to Vegas or they conveniently just left it out.
So I was
however you want to
trying to understand why would they be held responsible for what went on here? Just because
Ottawa would be?
Because the trade list was submitted to them and they just didn't say anything?
Oh, there was I think as Friedman explained, there was a rule change a couple years ago. So what happened is when a player is traded with a no trade clause, the clause follows him to the next team.
Right.
Where 2 years ago, if he was traded and he waived and was traded, that clause wouldn't follow him. It died with the team that he signed with.
Gotcha.
So when Ottawa did the trade with Vegas, they didn't inform Vegas or the registry that the trade was no trade list was following.
Right.
So as far as the Central Registry knew, he didn't have one because it's not those things are not centrally. What's the word for it? Each team looks after their own players' no trade list. There's nothing is said to the Central Registry.
Right.
So they'd have no knowledge of it.
So then Freeman went on to say, well, him and Merrick were both talking about saying that maybe the NHL should have their own version of cap-friendly or Puckpedia, which would make a lot of sense to me. I don't know why you wouldn't, but I guess some of the pushback is that players don't want all of their financial information disclosed in public. But I'm sure it would help avoid some confusion like we just saw. And now the NHL's got a lot of egg on their face. So just one of those things.
A little homework could have fixed that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if they just centralize the lists, other teams can see them, but Central Registry is notoriously not giving out information that doesn't belong to the person that needs it, right?
Yeah.
I think Friedman mentioned that as well in the podcast, is they don't give out information willy-nilly. You need to have a reason for the information. They won't give it to you.
Yeah, for sure. All right. What else we got here? Scott Wedgwood, now with the Dallas Stars. He's looked pretty good. We're going to talk about him in our waiver pickups. Bruce, I'm just breezing over some of the trade stuff we already talked about on Thursday.
Yeah, for sure.
With 2 goals Monday night, Philip Forsberg now has 35 goals in the season, and I think he scored again today. I'm not...
That I don't know.
To lunch, but I thought I saw that. Tuesday night, Jack Hughes scored 2 goals, giving him 20 on the season. He's up to 24 goals now.
That's good.
The guy's cruising.
Really
He's on
good.
pace for 95 points. So
good.
look for him to be a
good.
first or second round pick probably next year.
For sure.
Tyler, come on. Maybe a second round pick. I don't know, but he should go much higher than he did last year. No question.
Higher than Logan Couture.
Higher than Logan Couture. Yeah. Torrey Kruger left Tuesday night's game after a slash to the hand and did not return. He's now out week to week with an upper body injury. We'll talk about him in our waiver section, but Nick Leddy is kind of the immediate internal replacement there.
Which is funny because I thought they would have given that to Justin Falk.
Yeah, you'd think so. And they may just decide to go back to Falk. I kind of noticed that Leddy got 100% power play share in his first or second game, and then by the third game, I think he was around 50%. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But with 3 assists Tuesday night, Sidney Crosby recorded his 13th season with 40 or more assists. John, that's got to make you happy.
Oh, yeah.
Roman Josi recorded his 60th assist in 62 games Tuesday night. Trevor Zieger set the Ducks record for most assists in a rookie season with 31. He's had a good season, good rookie season. Patrick Kane scored his 20th goal Wednesday night, giving him 14 seasons of scoring 20-plus goals. So like we've talked about in the past, you don't really have to worry about Patrick Kane. About as automatic as he gets.
Yeah.
Logan Couture, speaking of which, left Thursday's game with an upper body injury. Brent Burns hit him in the back, right, with a shot from the point.
Oh, really?
Well, that was against the Oilers, I think, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, caught him somewhere with no padding, I guess.
That'll leave a mark.
Yeah, a little friendly fire. Ryan McDonough left Thursday's game 24 seconds into his first shift after blocking a shot. Did not return. He is now out indefinitely with an upper body injury for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Victor Arvidsson returned to the Kings lineup on Thursday, as did Robert Thomas and Vladimir Tarasenko for the Blues. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins returned to the Oilers lineup, and what a difference he made. Hey, John, both you and I and Bruce, I think, talked about this week, was he just makes a massive difference on special teams. He basically touches every part of the game for the Oilers, and it's noticeable.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's the unsung heart of the team, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a reason people love that guy.
They can trade that other guy. What's his name? McDavid?
Oh, Jesus. Tyler left. Tyler actually left. I've never seen this before.
I think he fell off his chair.
He's just making sure you're awake, Tyler. That's all.
Just making sure you're paying attention. That's all.
Oh, I'm awake.
Yeah. He's going to jump through that screen right away. But back to Nuge. He was huge. Even last night, as they lost 9-5, he had 4 points.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like John said, he's like the glue for these guys.
He was what, a +1?
That's yep.
And your boy Draisaitl was -4?
You hate Draisaitl. We know.
Yep.
We get it.
Yep.
We get it.
Guess who else was a +1 in the Oilers game last night?
Oh, I saw one of these and it was really stupid. I can't remember who it was.
Duncan Keith.
Yeah.
Duncan Keith.
He had 1 assist. He was +1 for the night.
That's just good hard veteran leadership.
Oh my gosh. Shut up.
The experience he brings to that dressing room, let me tell you. All right.
I'm not saying anything.
We touched on Dadonov already, so he had that 3-point night. Good for him. With the win Thursday night, Jeremy Swayman is 11-1-1 since Tuukka Rask retired. Grant, you're welcome. But as we just mentioned, hey, RNH has been great for me, and so has Anderson. So fair trade all around, I'd say.
For sure. That worked out well.
Conor McDavid now has 60 assists for 6 straight seasons. Only one player has more, and that's Wayne Gretzky with 13. With an assist Thursday night, Zach Hyman has set a career high in points with 42, 21 goals, and 21 assists. How much you guys love Zach Hyman? Like after that whole thing with Ben, is it Stetler? I probably botched that. But anyway, just like, if you didn't love the guy already, just watching him sit there. Well, first of all, he killed that massive, that penalty kill for like a straight minute, right? So he just skated around the ice was great. But then to see him after and just the way he handled Ben and just hung out with him and great human being, phenomenal player. Love to see it.
Yeah, that whole press conference thing after the game, that was really cool.
Yeah. If you didn't love that, you're probably not human. I love the kid's response though. Ben's response, right? It was, who's your favorite player? He was straight honest, right? Connor and Leon. That was pretty funny. All right. After Thursday's game, Joe Pavelski has 66 points in 63 games this season. He's 37 years old. That's like Tyler, just jump back on the ice.
Easy.
I'm kidding.
Easy.
Kidding.
Is that how old Tyler is?
No, he's my age.
Oh.
Well, he's a little older, but
you're
Not much.
all still old.
Not much.
not much. No. All right, Brendan Gallagher is going to be out for the Canadians about 1 week with a lower body injury. Jonathan Drewen is out indefinitely again with an upper body injury. Sean Monahan was a healthy scratch on Friday.
I saw that. He's got
First
1 point in his last 14 games or 2 points in his last 14 games?
Yeah, his first time in his career. he hasn't really been an offensive threat for
A couple years.
A while.
I was going to say a couple years anyway. And Bruce, to your point, we talked earlier in the week and you mentioned Kylie Yamamoto. Now they got that guy there, that kind of does make Monahan a little bit redundant, right?
Yeah, it sure does, especially on the bottom half, because Monahan's not playing well enough to play in the top six, so he was just barely hanging on the bottom six. Now he's going to be watching from the press box. It's an expensive hit to be sitting in the press box.
Yeah.
6.75, I think.
Too much.
You look at it. The Oilers dumped Lucic on Calgary right now, and he's probably the better $6 million player out of the two players on that team.
That's saying something.
He's so bad too. I just on the broadcast too, when he walked in with that stupid suit and didn't even do up 6 buttons. He had one at his belly button done up. Hey, good for you, Quasimodo.
You know, it's hard to say who's worse in here because Monahan's 22 points in 63 games, and Lucic is 19 in 65.
That's yeah.
It's $12 million worth of wasted space.
I'm not saying I'm glad. I wish we had Lucic back by any means, but the thing that drives me nuts about that guy, he was brought in to be an enforcer, and we couldn't pay him enough money to go hit somebody or fight somebody. And now in Calgary, he seems to hit everything that moves, and he has no problem fighting. So I don't know what the deal is, but Lucic, you're on my list for life, man.
I think he was asked to do something different. In Edmonton, they wanted that power winger, right? They wanted that Pat Maroon type player, right? And that's just not what Lucic is. He just couldn't do it. When he sent him to Calgary, what he's doing there was what he was doing in Boston. He's just doing it 2 lines farther down now.
I guess. No excuses for him. But yeah, okay, I see it. Zach Werenski left Saturday's game with an upper body injury. Oh, I missed this point here. This is kind of funny. So Thursday or Wednesday, when we were talking to Mike, I think we were all in agreement. We're going to see an announcement from the Golden Knights. There was a setback in somebody's recovery. Sure enough,
A day later,
Max Pacioretty had an injury setback on Thursday and is out indefinitely.
Someone whacked him one with a bat.
Yep. He tripped over the rug on the way onto the ice.
That or they pulled it out from
Fractured his
underneath
ankle. Someone just pulled it out from behind him while he was going out on the ice. Whoops.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, it's just comical.
Yeah.
And then there was talk, too. I think, Bruce, you were telling me they're going to try and close that loophole. Or the NHL's talking about it.
It's on the agenda for the GM's meetings here that there are a few GMs that are now wanting to talk about just closing this loophole or extending the salary cap into the playoffs so that this stuff can't get done because after 2 more down the list here, we'll see what Vegas did again here yesterday, or was it Friday? Well, Pacioretty was the one night, and then they did some more shuffling the next night too.
Yeah, so might as well just mention that now. Riley Smith was placed on LTIR, and Alex Martinez was activated from IR. So that's going to continue right until the end of the regular season, basically. Yeah,
and they're just hoping they can eke into the playoffs, and then they can just activate everybody and not worry about it.
Yeah, and actually, if you do go check out the playoff probabilities on leftwinglock.com, Vegas is trending up big time right now. They've been a lot better of late, which I don't like, but.
And they got an easy schedule this week.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff Petrie is out indefinitely with lower body injury. Patrice Bergeron skated in his 1200th career game on Saturday. Leon Draisaitl hat trick. Yeah, move on from that.
Trash.
We'll just breeze over that one. Not important. Fleury got his first win. Mackenzie Blackwood started skating again. Miles Wood makes his season debut today for the New Jersey Devils. He missed most of the season with a hip injury. Sorokin left Sunday's game with an upper body injury. That's not the kind of stuff I want to hear, Bruce.
Sorry, man.
Jacob Vrana is the latest to score a Draisaitl hat trick. 1 goal, 1 assist, -1 in their game on Sunday versus the Penguins. For him to be only -1, that's pretty good.
Considering they gave up 11, yeah.
Yeah. Was it Nedeljkovic that got shelled?
Both of them got shelled.
Oh.
They ended up pulling. I think they put Nedeljkovic back in after they put Pickard in.
Did they?
I think.
Well, I was reading on Twitter that they both got pulled. So unless they just went with an empty net after that, I don't know.
Must have. Like they both ended up with really close save percentages of 682 and 692.
Yeah, I think that's the second time that's happened too. Because the game against the Leafs, I think they pulled Ned and then put him back in, and he let a bunch more goals in too.
Second time in a month, I think I read somewhere.
Not good.
It's funny because both teams put up the same amount of shots.
It's amazing what goaltending can do for you, hey?
Who knew?
I'm not sure what that feels like. I've never had that as a fan where I can say we got a good goaltender.
Right?
Oh, Rolison. We'll say Rolison, Tyler. Yeah.
Until he got run over by his own player.
And cost us the Stanley Cup. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know. Ryan Strome left Sunday's game with a lower body injury. I did not know that, Bruce. So that's interesting. And Tanner Jeannot was back in the lineup Sunday after missing a couple of games due to the birth of his first child. And he was right back at it. I saw he scored at least one goal and had an assist or two as well. So his rookie season continues to be impressive. And some nice category coverage too. All right, that does it for headlines with the Hacks, news and injury updates. We'll move on here. We want to let our listeners know that the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast is a proud partner of NHLShop.ca, the best source for all your officially licensed NHL apparel and merchandise. Follow the links in our show notes or on our website. Save up to 50% on select apparel now and get free shipping on orders over $99. Use promo code NHLFS99 at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details. Full disclosure, Fantasy Hockey Hacks may receive a small commission for your purchase, which helps us to continue providing original content and fueling Tyler's gambling habits. And Tyler, what's the latest?
That's not good.
Still not good, hey?
No, it's been a rough few days.
He was bad Wednesday and never improved. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Let's move on to some questions here. Let's get on to Ask the Hacks.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Should I trade Jack Hughes for Jack Eichel?
No.
Agreed.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't think I do that either anymore.
I mean, I still like Jack Eichel. I think long term, like if the team will get out, like I think his prospects are still good, right? I mean, but the way Jack Hughes is playing, and in theory, that roster should only get better.
Yeah, exactly. He sure's been on fire lately. Brat's been doing pretty good as well.
Sharon Govich.
Yep.
They got Hamilton. They got Severson.
They just need a goalie.
Just need a goalie.
Dawes is doing his best back there, but I don't think he's the answer for them. But he's sure putting the effort in. That's for sure.
Yep, no question. Okay, there you have it. Jack Hughes, stick with him. Would you drop Ryan Hartman for Valeri Nichushkin? And I kind of hummed and hawed on this one. I don't know.
I would say no, because right now Hartman is glued to Kaprizov and Zuccarello. And for Valeri, his promotion's just temporary.
My argument against that, Bruce, would be Landeskog probably doesn't come back until the playoffs. So Nichushkin to the end of the season is going to be playing with McKinnon and Rantanen. And Nichushkin's been really good. I don't know what he did today. Should check that.
Tyler, you got something to fill the void?
Nothing.
No, I was trying to figure it out, but
Did
Hartman did
Shushkin-
score today.
Yeah, and Nichushkin's actually gone 2 straight games now without a point. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you can make a case either way, but Hartman's probably been producing a touch more lately.
basically, for what we figured out here, you really can't go wrong with either one.
It's a tough choice. I'd have to maybe the tiebreaker there would be the schedule if you want to take a look at that for the upcoming week here. Just trying to find. Minnesota's got 4 games, and then where's Colorado? They got 3 games. If you guys give me a second, maybe if somebody wants to fill the void here, I'll just see what the schedule looks like to the end of the season.
What do you expect us to do?
I don't know. Twiddle your thumbs. Okay, I'll look into the
John,
schedule.
sing.
Let's talk about the next question here. While you guys are discussing that, I'll find some notes on the schedule. Pick 2 of these 3 players to keep for the remainder of the season. It's probably an easier question now, but it's Ryan Strome, Andrew Kopp, and Chandler Stevenson. Categories include faceoff wins, blocks, hits, and other standard categories. How about her?
I would think as long as Strome isn't out for too long, Strome would be 1. And Kopp is really off to a strong start with the Rangers. Stevenson, well, since Eichel has got to Vegas, is just about dropped off the map. He's still on the power play, but in terms of his usage, he's down, I think, to the 3rd line. So I think I'd keep Strome and Kopp.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing as long as that injury isn't too long. But
Yep. Agreed.
Sorry, just back to the previous question in the schedule notes here. So Minnesota's got 19 games left. 5 of those games are on light days. 4 on back-to-backs. Colorado's got 17 games, so 2 fewer. But they've got 1 fewer back-to-back. And 1 more game on light days. So 2 more games if you're sticking with Hartman. Just an FYI. Okay, and some are saying Strome and Kopp. Everyone's happy with that. Okay. Do you think Jared McCann is worth keeping over using his roster spot as a streamer? We have 5 bench spots and 3 moves a week. Scoring scheme is goals, assists, power play goals, game-winning goals, shorthanded goals, and shots. Excuse me. The rest of my team is firing on all cylinders, and sometimes feel like a streamer can give me more value. I would agree with that sentiment, that strategy. I think having a streamer spot works well in a lot of cases, and especially when it's a player like Jared McCann who, yeah, they play 4 games this week, but I think it's against some tough competition. And in terms of offense,
they play Vegas twice.
Yeah, Vegas twice. And I looked at their numbers too. Their power play is like 29th in the league in the month of March, and I think they were 15th or something, or 21st. It was 21st in terms of goals scored per game. So I wouldn't hesitate to drop McCann if you've got some better options on the waiver wire and just continue streaming, guys. But what do you guys think?
I'd say the same. There's some of those Devils players that are still on the waiver wire somewhere. Heisher Brat. The other one I can't pronounce.
Sharon Govich?
That's the one.
I've botched that enough times I figured it out, so. Even Yamamoto's out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Tyler, any thoughts on that? Or you're content with that? Out of approval. Okay. Is Torrey Krug droppable, and are you interested in Nick Leddy as an internal replacement? So this is actually there's a couple of questions in here, but we'll start with that one.
I guess if his hand is actually broken, then yeah, he's droppable because he might be back for the end of the season, but he's back for the last week in the season. That's the last week of fantasy playoffs, so you'd have to get that far.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a spot to stash him, I think it'd be fairly safe in dropping him.
I'd agree. And then I think as far as Nick Leddy's concerned, it's a maybe, I think. Just see how his production looks after a few games and if he continues to get that first unit power play time. The other part of the question here, also I picked up Kylie Yamamoto earlier this week, and now I'm considering keeping him for the upcoming week. However, I have an empty D spot. Is it a decent strategy to have a forward who will get you points and have an empty D spot? Gostisbehere is available, and long-term, I would plan to have him on my roster. I think at this point, Tyler, you look confused. Basically, she's asking, should I just keep Yamo and have an empty D spot for the week coming up? Because Yamamoto is going to play on 4 light days, so she can fit in Yamamoto. all week, but then no one's on her that D spot.
So, could she drop Krug, keep Yamo, and pick up Gostisberg?
No, I think the way I looked at it, I could be wrong. Chandel, you can let me know later, but I think the way it shook out, well, she her name's Chandel. She contacts us on Twitter.
Yeah, let them
We
know
appreciate
later.
you.
Yeah. But the idea was that she would have to drop Yamamoto to pick up Gostisbehere and then fill up that D spot.
Okay.
We're horrible people.
The worst. Just between the two of you. And they just get each other going. Hey, Bruce, like
Oh, absolutely. They just feed off of each other.
Oh man, I'm turning red. I feel like
they just
wind
wind each other up. It's so funny.
Hey, keep
Oh
Yamo.
God.
Keep
Yeah.
Yamo.
Keep Yamo. That's your opinion.
Yeah, he's on. Like, I don't know if this is going to be like it was in his first season when he got called up there, where he just had points for seemed like a month and a half straight.
Like 79 points, I think, is what he ended up with. Or like he was on pace for that anyway, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to do that again, but I mean, this is pretty consistent. It's been over a week, goals and assists. So
Yeah, he stayed hot. My concern with it is if you like to leave that empty. I think because I looked at Gostisbehere has the same schedule. They play 4 light days, so like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Same with Yamo and the Oilers. So it doesn't affect the rest of your roster so much because they're playing the same schedule. But I mean, either way, you're leaving a spot in your roster empty. Like that's my concern, right? Because she has other forwards she can fill in on a roster, and then just to have Gostisbehere playing, then you're maximizing games played.
I guess it depends too if your league, and it doesn't say here if they count shifts. I guess that matters too. So.
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
D-Man gets a couple more shifts.
I knew it
so
was coming. I knew it was
get that
coming,
in
and I
there.
was like, "Do I let him do it?" Yeah, okay, I'll let him do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, Tyler, you're in favor. Yamo, Bruce, John, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm in favor. Yamo.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, keep Yamamoto. You've heard it here from the Hacks. Is Pierre-Luc Dubois droppable? Other centers available in my league are Nico Hischier, Brock Nelson, Tyler Seguin, Nicholas Backstrom, Josh Norris, Carter Verhaeghe, and Nick Schmaltz. I almost suggested just streaming. Like, of those pool of players, you could probably just...
Oh, like right now, Hischier and Nelson, right?
Yep.
Nelson scored 12 goals already in March.
He's on pace for like 48 goals
Yeah.
over 82 games. He's been just ripping it up. I think this time of year you kind of just have to go for it. Like if Dubois is not producing at a level that you need,
Yeah.
does it hurt you to have a stream spot and run guys like Backstrom and Norris and Nelson and Hischier and just collect points as much as you can?
Yeah, take a look at the schedule and see who's playing the most and just get them. Go for it, they say.
Because, I mean, if you don't get past your first week of the playoffs, what does it matter?
I'm actually surprised that
Exactly.
Dubois is only averaging, I think, just over 15 minutes a night on the season.
Yeah.
Pretty close to third line usage. It's right in there. So
Last I looked, he's mostly been playing with Kyle Connor. I thought he was anyway, unless they've changed that. But yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on that one, guys? Before we move on?
not Sagan. He hasn't done anything for a while.
Nothing. I do like Josh Norris. I do like Carter Verhaeghe playing on that top line in fuck me, the Panthers, and Nick Schmaltz.
Yeah, Backstrom hasn't done much either since coming back. He's got a couple points, but Kuznetsov kind of has that first line down. So
Yeah. All right, last question here. Someone dropped Troy Terry in my league. Should I drop Jesse Puljujarvi or Carter Verhaeghe for him? This was a Twitter question. I just said I would probably look at dropping Puljujarvi. As much as I love the player, and in real hockey, in terms of fantasy production, I think he's got 6 points in his last 10, but it's been like he's playing some low minutes. I think he played 9.5 last night against Calgary. and virtually no power play time. Whereas Troy Terry's still playing around 20 minutes a game. He's getting usage on the top power play unit. And Verhaeghe is not to the same degree, but he's producing too, right? So that'd be my opinion. But what do you guys think?
I'd agree.
Yeah, I just dropped Jesse, and I didn't feel good about it, but I did it.
The Bison Kings dropped the Bison King?
Think about that for a sec.
Oh, no.
Oof.
Are you okay?
There could be a name change coming.
Yeah, name change. Here we come.
Don't worry, I got a good laugh for you coming up.
Do we get a last minute entry for Ask the Hacks? Is someone has another question being submitted here?
Oh, no.
Okay.
You'll know when it happens.
Okay, that is it for this week for Ask the Hacks. Thank you to everyone who has submitted questions. Just a reminder, if you're new to the show, every week we do a draw for a free 1-year subscription to the Left Wing Lock iPhone app. You do have to have an iPhone.
The worst.
No, there's superior phones, so there's just no reason not to use them. Yeah. That's fact, not opinion. That is fact.
That is definite opinion.
Anyway.
I will fight you to the end for that one.
I know you will. But if you want to get entered, send us your email, send us a message, ask us a question, fantasyhockeyhacks@gmail.com, or get in touch with us on social media or on the website. And with that, we're going to move on to our DraftKings ad read because, as a member of the Hockey Podcast Network, the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast is a proud partner of DraftKings. The NHL season has been packed with dirty dangles, hat tricks, and big wins. As the action rolls on, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has your shot to win big too. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's right, a bump in the win column for your team means free bets for you. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you still have a chance to light the lamp. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy hockey contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet just $1 on any NHL team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN. The DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. 21 years of age or older. Restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you or a friend or someone you know needs assistance with gambling addictions, all of the information is going to be available on our website, fantasyhockeyhacks.com. All the hotlines can be found there, all the text lines, all the information you'll need. So John takes it seriously because he's also needed those numbers sometimes. Hey, bud?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Tyler, you didn't fall asleep.
Almost. Just
Almost.
A quick little power nap there.
All right, we're going to move on to the next segment here, Edge Work, the segment where we do the work to give you the edge in your fantasy hockey leagues, starting with the NHL schedule for Week 24. The NHL is going to be busy again this week with 54 games on the schedule. In typical fashion, Monday, Wednesday, Friday are light days, meaning 50% or fewer of NHL teams are in action. But we still have 5, 6, and 7 games respectively on those days. There are 14 teams on the schedule that play a total of 4 games, and 5 of those teams, being Arizona, Buffalo, Edmonton, Seattle, and St. Louis, play 3 of their games on light days, which is going to help you optimize the games started or played for your roster. The rest of the league plays a standard 3 games with the exception of just 2 teams. That's Nashville and Washington, who play just twice. So just a quick recap. Monday, 5 games. Tuesday, 9. Wednesday, 6. Thursday, 9. Friday, 7. Saturday, 9. Sunday, 9. And some teams of interest here, starting with the Arizona Coyotes. They've got 4 games on the schedule for next week, a -17 strength of schedule according to Left Wing Lock. It's basically it's a near perfect schedule. All their games take place, or 3 of their games take place on light days. They have no back-to-backs, so in theory they could play Vejmelka on all 4 games next week. Something to keep in mind if you're looking for goalie starts. The Coyotes are 6-3-0 in their last 10 games played, and during the month of March, they've scored at a rate of 4.20 goals for per game, first in the entire league.
Wow, that's impressive.
Very.
Who?
Yeah. Yeah, the Arizona Coyotes, first in the NHL in the month of March. And that was probably before Pittsburgh's crazy 11-goal game, but Yeah, 4.2 on the month.
How about that, eh?
Not bad.
That's good.
Huh.
Their power play is also miraculously just outside the top 10 at 26.1%. They've got a favorable schedule according to Left Wing Lock, like I said. They take on the Oilers, who are 6-3-1 in their last 10, the Sharks, who are 4-4-2, the Ducks, who are 1-7-2, and the Blackhawks, who are 4-5-1. Their record against upcoming opponents this week is 2-5-1. Some players to consider there: Nick Schmaltz, Lawson Krause, Phil Kessel, Shane Gostisbehere, and Karel Vejmelka. So there you have it. Team with 4 games to keep an eye on for next week. Team with 3 games here is the Winnipeg Jets. Their strength of schedule, according to Left Wing Lock, is a +1. They've got a fairly neutral schedule for next week with matchups against Buffalo, who's 7-3-0 in their last 10, Toronto, who's 5-4-1, and the Kings, who are 5-3-2 in their last 10. Winnipeg's fared well against their upcoming competition, and they've been rolling of late. Since March 1st, Winnipeg is tied for second in the NHL with a 4.00 goals for per game played. And the power play has been converting at a rate of 27.5%, which is 10th in the league. Their record against upcoming opponents, 3-1-0. Some players to consider: Paul Stastny, Adam Lowry, Josh Morrissey, Neil Pionk, and Nate Schmidt. They don't have a ton of fantasy-relevant players available at the moment, but for DFS purposes, they're definitely a team you want to keep an eye on. Teams with 2 games: Nashville Predators. Strength of schedule is -31 according to Left Wing Lock. Like I said, one of 2 teams to play just twice this week. But despite the lack of volume, they've actually got a really nice schedule here. They take on the Ottawa Senators and the Buffalo Sabres. The Preds have a very a -31 rating. Like I said, Nashville and Ottawa have not faced off yet this season, but the Preds did lose 4-1 to the Sabres on January 13th, where Skinner scored twice. Nashville 7-3-0, their last 10 games played. During the month of March, they are 10th league-wide in points percentage. They're first in goals for. Well, they were first in goals for at 4.36, and then 9th on the power play at 27%. Record this season, 0-1-0. Players to consider there: Ryan Johansson, Eli Tolvanen, Mikael Granlund, and Tanner Jeannot. So that does it for the schedule for this week. Let's move on to Week 24 waiver wire targets. Typically, we focus on players with ownership of 50% or less. There are some exceptions, obviously. Let's get into it. First up here, Kevin Hayes, 13% rostered, 3 games on the schedule for next week. What's your take on Kevin Hayes, guys?
Is he the de facto drop-in replacement for Drew now that Drew is in Florida?
That was kind of my take on it too. Yep. Both him and Konechny, actually, who's another guy we mentioned here in our waiver wire pickups. They've been really good. They're going to get some more time on ice with Giroux gone, and also Couturier is out, right? So
That's right.
Both of these guys have been producing. At the time of writing, and this was a day or two ago, but we had 9 points and 4 goals in the last 9 games played for Kevin Hayes. So he's been really good. They do have a challenging schedule this week, the Flyers, with matchups against Minnesota, Toronto, and New York, so that's something to keep in mind. But Travis Konechny, since January 22nd, he's posted at least 1 point in 17 of 24 games. He's currently on pace for 16 goals and 56 points. So both guys, I think, can help your roster if you're in need of some points.
Well, they're producing late in the season here, right? So if you got someone on your roster that's dropping off, these guys are picking up. So especially going into the playoffs.
Yeah. And readily available, too. Like Travis Konechny's only 26% rostered. And Kevin Hayes is 13%.
So they're pretty much available just about anywhere.
Yep. Next up here is Philip Deneau, 22% rostered, 4 games on the schedule for next week. He's been playing with Moore and Arvidsson, and he's getting time on power play 1. He personally is having one of his best offensive seasons. He's got 21 goals already through 65 games. The surprising thing for me is he's shooting a lot more. He's up to 2.5 shots per game, whereas his career average is just 1.8.
That's great.
Yep. He's looked good there. I mean, he's got 6 points, 5 goals in his last 9 games, but he contributes in a lot of other areas as well, and that's kind of the one thing I like about him. He's contributing to some hits. He's contributing in the faceoff dot. He's actually winning 8.5 draws a game. So some good things from him there. 63.5% power play share in his last 5 games. And I believe it was 4 or more shots in 4 or 5 of his last games. Like he's really been shooting the puck a lot lately. So some nice things there about him.
On the Kings as a whole, they've been a bit beaten up injury-wise too. So with him producing, that helps carry it over a bit too. So they get some of their healthy people back, or get some people back healthy.
Yep. So check out Dano. Good option there, especially in deep leagues. Nico Hischier, I think Bruce, you had mentioned earlier. So we've got him 35% rostered, 3 games on the schedule. He's playing with Tatar and Bratz, who's also having a great season. Somebody made a note here that's quite funny.
What?
Yeah, I don't know who that would have been. He has points.
Take it away, John.
It was a team effort.
Team effort, yeah. So Hischier's got 9 points in 9 of his last 10 games played. He's got 14 points and 4 goals. Multiple points in 4 consecutive games. He's on pace for 69 games. Nice.
69 games or 69 points?
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. 69 points. He's on pace for 69 points. But okay. Anyway, we're moving on. and 26 goals.
Nice.
I'm surprised he's just 35% rostered.
I think it's probably because of his injuries. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup, but since he has been back the last time here, he's been on a tear.
Yeah, it's look good.
I think that's exactly what it is. He's just in and out too much.
People want certainty.
Yeah, for anybody to really hold on to him.
That's fair. Next up here, just because how can you not mention him again, given the way that he's been playing? But he was just on our waiver wire list last week, and I think he's been on here previously. But Kylie Yamamoto, again, 23% rostered. And this one, you can't even make that argument, right, Tyler? Like it's not like Yamo's in and out of the lineup. This guy, he's playing, he's producing. 4 games on the schedule for next week, plus 3 strength of schedule. He's playing with McDavid and Kane. And I think the one thing here, the one knock on Yamo, his last 2 games, his power play time has been cut down to basically nothing. So, I mean, he's still playing with 2 incredibly talented players at even strength, but something to keep in mind there. He's got 5 points, 3 goals in his last 4 games, 12 points and 7 goals in his last 9. He's got a career high 18 through 65 games. So, I mean, he's got an outside chance at 25 goals this year.
Just got to keep shooting.
Yep.
Tyler checked his ish lately?
His ish?
Has Tyler checked his ish lately?
No, I didn't check his. I'm good.
We can check it just so everybody feels better.
I'm good without checking his ish. I'm sure it's low.
19.1 on the season.
Oh, never mind.
But his 3-year average is 17.9, so it's not outrageous.
Shoot the puck. Just got to shoot it. It
Yeah.
goes in.
He doesn't even have 100 shots this year, which is pretty surprising.
94 on the season.
Smitty.
John's favorite player's number.
Smitty.
No.
In the month of March, this actually is concerning. In the month of March, his shooting percentage is 33.3%.
Keep shooting.
What was it?
So
Can you look back and see what it was? Maybe not right now, but look back and see what it was when he went on that after he got called up.
like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, well, we can look into that after.
Because it might just be a thing that he does.
Like second half Fiala.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Last forward here, Evgenii Dadonov. I don't have his rostered percentage for some reason. That's my bad. But I believe he's widely available. I can look that up. 3 games played. He's playing with Eichel and Nicholas Waugh right now and on power play 1.
Best trade they never made.
Best trade they never made, exactly. 9 points, 6 goals in his last 8 games. He had the overtime winner, like we said. Yeah, I don't know. Nice short-term streaming option, right? At least until some of the players for Vegas come back.
So basically the rest of the season.
Basically the rest of the season, yeah. So just enjoy that production from Evgenii Dadonov.
9% rostered right now.
There you go. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to defensemen. We got a couple guys here that were traded or have been impacted by trades at the deadline. First up is Hampus Lindholm, 18% rostered. 3 games on the schedule for next week. They've got him on the top pairing with Charlie McAvoy and getting some time on power play too. Through 2 games, he had 1 assist, 6 shots on goal, 7 hits, 2.5 minutes on the power play, and over 22 minutes of time on ice.
They went out and got him, and they're sure using him.
Yeah, not too shabby. So someone I would keep an eye on. I mean, even to play with that top line at even strength, and with Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Just gonna pull up
pretty good players there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's got the 1 assist here so far. But yeah, he's looked good. So give him some consideration. The other guy, it just wouldn't be an episode of Fantasy Hockey Hacks without talking about Shane Goss's pair. 48% rostered. 4 games on the schedule for next week. -17 strength of schedule. He's been great all year long. 13 goals. On pace for 13 goals and 51 points. 9 points, 1 goal in his last 10 games played. If you need help on D, go grab Goss's pair.
Nice little bounce back season for him.
Yeah. This guy, Vince Dunn, obviously he's been impacted positively with Mark Giordano leaving. Kind of as we'd expected, he's getting the lion's share of the power play with Gio out of town. On March 22nd, he played .420 on the power play, and he eclipsed 25 total minutes. So he's getting some big minutes, some big time on ice, 7 points, 14 shots on goal, 14 blocks in his last 9 games played. He's on pace for 38 points. And the Kraken have 18 games remaining on the season, 9 of which take place on the light days, which is the second most among all teams. So he's got a bit of a schedule advantage there as well.
Very nice.
John, you're laughing. Was it because of Vince Dunn, or what was that about?
Absolutely. It was
Or
totally
he's checking your lineup. What is this?
It was totally Vince Dunn. Yeah. I don't need to check my lineup. I'm up by so much it doesn't matter.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay. Okay.
Throwing shade.
What a joke.
For a guy who started the year 5-12, or 5-9 or whatever it was. Yeah, 5-9.
You're feeling really good about yourself.
Absolutely.
Flames out in the first round of the playoffs.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Next D-man here, Sean Durzi, 4% rostered, 4 games on the schedule for next week. He's basically been the de facto number 1 for LA with Doughty out of the lineup. He's on pace for 37 points. He's got 7 points in his last 10. He's contributing to blocks, hits, PIMs, shots on goal. Lots of good things to like about him. I think he's the first rookie D-man for LA to score 2 or more 3-point games.
Wow, that's good.
So some good stuff there from Sean Durzi. Give him a look. As we mentioned earlier, Nick Leddy, 2% rostered, 4 games on the schedule for next week. He's being paired with Parayko, and he's seeing time on power play 1. That's probably going to last for as long as Krug is out of the lineup. I really don't expect big production out of him. Like, does anybody here expect big production out of Nick Leddy, realistically?
Not really, no.
No. It's mostly the suggestion here is based on his deployment, which may or may not play out, but he's got volume starts next week and good deployment. So, I mean, it's if you're in a really deep league, I think he's worth a look. That's it for D-men. Let's move on to goaltenders, starting with Logan Thompson. 10% rostered, 3 games on the schedule. There's some speculation that Robin Lehner is going to miss the remainder of the season, right? Or we wouldn't be surprised to hear that.
No.
So, I mean, given that information, Logan Thompson's basically been the guy. But he's been really good in his last 5 starts. He's got a record of 3-2-0 with a 2.41 GAA, a 929 save percentage, and a 3.13 goals saved above average. Some good stuff there. John, you have nothing bad to say about Logan Thompson? You're trying really hard.
Sample size, and that's about it.
That's fair. Tyler, you might like this guy, Jake Allen, 27% rostered, 3 games on the schedule for next week. I don't like his schedule. It's like Murderer's Row in the Southeast, right? They got Florida, Carolina, and Tampa.
Oh, God.
So maybe you don't want to look at him for this week, but their schedule gets better the week after for the week ending April 10th. But I just got to say, in his first 5 appearances coming off injury, he made a spectacular 47 save appearance the other night, a 4-2 win over the Leafs. He's got a 2-1-2 record with a 2.81 goals against average, a 931 save percentage, and a 3.97 GSAA. Tyler, yes or no?
Oilers could use that.
Did you see that stop he made on Marner?
No.
Came across the ice with his blocker, somehow got it. Even Marner had his mouth open watching it after. Based on that schedule, I wouldn't, but maybe for the week following up, he has been really good.
Yeah, if your playoffs don't start this week, maybe you want to consider stashing him for the week after. If you're looking for goaltender help, or you could roll the dice too. Maybe puts up another 45-point save or 50-point save against Tampa. Or, probably not, but I mean, yeah. Anyway, Scott Wedgwood. Who was I talking to? John, is that you or is it you, Bruce? Big fan of Scott Wedgwood.
He came in and played.
He
came in and played really well in his first game in Dallas. I think he had 48 saves or 47 saves.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
6% rostered, 4 games next week.
Easy
He
schedule.
actually he almost had 50% net share in Arizona. But I mean, does anyone here think he's going to play much in Dallas? Like, that's my only concern with him.
If he keeps playing like that, they might give him a couple of extra starts just to give Ottinger a rest.
Yeah.
Because they are still in contention for a playoff spot. So putting up numbers like that, they don't have to rely on Ottinger nearly as much.
That's true. And we should mention his numbers here. So in his last 3 starts, he's posted a 2-1-0 record, 2.93 goals against average, a 935 save percentage, and a 3.28 GSAA. So some good stuff from Wedgwood there. Okay. Any other thoughts, opinions, ideas, players I might have missed, players you want to talk about? Nothing. Okay. Crickets. I did include, just because some teams are going into the playoffs, or we're a week away from playoffs, there's just some additional names to consider here. So I'll probably just do that this week and next week, and we're not going to cover every player in the league, but there's some guys here you might want to consider as well. So check the notes, go to fantasyhockeyhacks.com. All that information is going to be there. If you want to get in touch with us, if you want to submit questions for Ask the Hacks, get in touch with us on Twitter at FHHacks, on Instagram at fantasyhockeyhacks. What else, Sean? We're everywhere. We're on Reddit. We're on, I don't know, all the places. Facebook.
All the places.
We're on Reddit?
Except the TikToks.
Except that, we're on the TikToks. We do have like a subreddit, Tyler. So if people want to,
how about that? So if you want to submit questions, you can do it there too, or just follow up on some of the content we got going on.
Hey Tyler, did you hear we're on Spotify too?
No. I've got Apple Podcasts, so I just listen on there.
You would.
Zing.
Y'all are a bunch of hosers.
There you go. We are on all the podcast directories, not just those 2, but okay. John, you have a thought there? You look like you want to say something.
No, I was just gonna say we're also on the YouTubes, but
we are on the YouTubes, and I think we're gonna try and do more with our YouTube channel, kind of moving into the playoffs and the off season. So stay tuned for that. You might see more content there. But I think that about does it. It's getting past Tyler's bedtime. He is the ripe old age of 35 now, so
I'm 34 still. Relax.
Oh, sorry, just 34. Okay.
Relax.
You guys are old men. Creepy
So
old
with
men.
that, we'll call it for another week. Thanks, guys. It was fun. We will talk to you next Sunday.
Bye, Felicia.
Shout out, Charlie.
Hey, good night.
Take care.